Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, boys. It's a nice Sunday afternoon here in Italy. Outside is raining a bit, but not too much. It looks more like the English rain, the one that is very, very thin. So it's okay. And yeah, what I want to do today is consider that yesterday we pretty much fixed combat. I mean, not fully, but I would say it's kind of working. So I can fight. I think it's okay. I mean, it's not great yet. So, but I would say for now, it's fine. Hello, Grimstone. Hello, Sway. So for now, it's kind of nice, and I think it's okay. Probably I will find many more bugs for sure, but. So what I was reasoning this morning was, what about kind of a new player flow? So when a new player enters the game, what? I mean, is it working today or is it completely broken? Because at the moment I just tested, with characters that were already existing. I would just teleport into the main city and just testing a bit the functionality from the. And I will say this stream, unfortunately, will have some spoilers. Hello, Marcelo. Hey, welcome. This stream will have some spoilers because, unfortunately, if I have to work on the early part of the game, I think I will try to keep it low, but yeah, there will be some, I guess. So, first thing first, let me make a new mission, okay? Because without a mission, we are nothing. We are role players, and so without a quest, we cannot really operate, right? So I will create a new thing. I will create a new mission. I'm doing it now. 1 second. I'm sharing my screen. Just cleaning up. Yeah. So we create a new mission, which is called New Player Flow, right? And basically, the new player flow is what happens after you install the game and launch it, right? And I want to understand if we have the pieces that are needed for a new player to actually start to play the game. And is warming UK? Okay. Yeah, so we are reversed weather at the moment. Now, what I want the players to do at the beginning. So we want to make some changes, to the way the game is today in the early phases. Now, basically, the game as is today, you are just thrown into a tutorial area, and the tutorial area is teaching you in a very, I would say, lecture way, in a very like a professor to a student way, how to interact with the game, how to launch a spell, how to do things like that. Which, okay, I mean, is the easiest that we could do. Hello, Maui. So it was the easiest we could do, and it's still the easiest. So don't get me wrong. I think that we don't want to shoot for something that is really complex, because at the end we will not have the strength maybe to do it. We don't have enough people to actually do it. But the point is that the way the game is today. So let's analyze it a bit together. Okay, so PS Legacy. I want to make it bold. PS Legacy is, the flow is very simple. So you register on the website, right? And I mean, obviously, it is identical between the two games, the two versions. But you register on the website. You download the game. Let's say register download is only one. Okay? So register download on website, and then you install. Right? You install the game. And you get the main server as the default. So let's say that at this moment we have one main server, and so you basically have no choices. Okay, so that's a very straightforward way. You install the game, you have one server, and I mean there is no way for you to be mistaken or to select the wrong server or whatever. So, hello Tony. So it's like, very simple, and I like it. So there is no possibility to do any mistakes. Then you have the login page. I don't think we can get rid of the login page, even if it would be nice to have another way. But you have a login page where you basically put your username, which usually is your email, and your password. You click on the server and you log in. Right now, what happens next is that you go in the character selection screen. And if you already have some character, you can obviously pick from it. But let's assume that at the moment we don't have any because we are a brand new player. So the character selection screen is basically suggesting you to create a new character, right? And it is very kind of old-fashioned, very simple style kind of menu, so you have a menu, you pick, you see that you have 4 slots, and from the 4 slots you select one and do create new, and it is where things are tending to get a bit complex for the player, because actually, okay, you say create a new character, which is nice, but then you are proposed with 2 choices, right? So the two choices are quick creation and which is basically path. Okay, so it's a path. I mean, the player doesn't know, but it just read quick creation. Okay, and then custom creation. I don't know why there is still bold somewhere. So there are 2 options. So it's this one or the other one. So, and it is already a bit confusing for the player, because being a new player, he has no idea what is one and what is the other. What does it mean, quick creation, custom creation? Okay, maybe he thinks that quick, he gets into the game quicker, which probably is the right understanding. But okay, so it is what he gets. So he picks one randomly, basically. I think that what a new player does, he picks, he picks both just to understand. Maybe I can show you the old game so we have it. We have it, while we go. But I think I will have to delete a character because I think I have 4, and I'm limited to 4 like anyone else. Funnily enough. Okay, let me just load the old game 1 second so we. Can I do it? Oh, it's loading. I cannot move the window. Okay, so it is the old game. Okay, it's the old game, so it's not Unreal Engine. So you will be having only one server. Now I have different servers because I have our test server and I have the local one. But so you are presented with this. Okay, you can read the credits if you want. But then, okay, you arrive here. So let me delete this guy. Okay, and relog in. Okay, so new character. So he clicks on new character, and he arrives in this screen, right? Which again is very old-fashioned way, of doing things. So it's just and obviously this has been created 20 years ago or 15 years ago. I don't even remember. So I mean, it makes sense that it's old-fashioned. So here you have a bit of a help if you want but it's not really helping you much. You have this CP, you have no idea what this CP is, for example, as a new player. No idea. They say CP 0. What the fuck is that? CP. Custom pane, custom play, create play. No idea, right? Actually, it's character creation points, but I think the new player will have no idea about it. By the way, if you click on it, it gives you no information. So you see this box and say, okay. You see M and F. Okay, so it's male and female. I think this one makes sense. You see a name. Okay, you have to give yourself a name, first name and last name, and you can also suggest a name. I think this is pretty easy. So the player can click here and say, okay, suggest me a name. I want to be called Ginari Reveven. And then he has this thing and this thing. If he clicks here, nothing happens. If he clicks here, nothing happens. And then he has this list, which, by the way, is not even explained what is it. But okay, so it doesn't even say race. At least you could have said race at the top, right? It doesn't say race. Okay. I think we should somehow, because the player doesn't know what is this list of things. It could be cities, it could be factions, it could be items, it could be classes, it could be whatever, and it can also be races. But anyway, but then he clicks on it and he sees something. So okay, so there is a guy. I clicks here. Okay, there is another guy. Okay. So I think now he understands that these are like different characters, and then he reads here the description, which is a pretty long description, but it's okay. I mean, it's a role-playing game, so I think role players likes to understand about the game. So the more 7 amber color copper was okay. So he's reading this ability, field of interest. Reading this, is selecting the one that he likes the most, I guess. Right, so I select, okay, I have this guy, there's this guy, there's this guy, okay. And so it says, I like this guy because he has wings. Now, on this guy we'll try male and female, and it says, makes no difference. Okay, and then maybe he will try to click on these things. Okay, so he sees that he can have it as gray, and you can have it as normal. It doesn't have any options here for this guy, so this guy seems to have very little options. Also, this is not explained, so the player is kind of lost. What are all these other things that I cannot click? But I will probably go back, try with other guys and say, oh, this guy actually has more options. Okay, so now he understands that, you have more options to customize your character. It's pretty sad because he likes this one and this one has no customization, but he decided to have a gray one. Okay, so, and he doesn't like this name, so he changed the name. Kevin Moore is freaking perfect. So I say, I have my player. Okay, now what I do? Oh, by the way, the CP went up. CP 150. He has no idea what is it. If you go back here, it's always CP 150. Whatever he selects is 150. Okay, he has no idea what is it, but it's fine. So at this point, he can go back. I guess he will not do it, and he can say quick and advanced. Okay, so this quick and advanced is not explained, so he has no idea what he's clicking, and he's already not very good. But okay, so let's say he wants to get into the game quick, so he clicks on quick. And this page comes up. So assuming he clicked on quick, he has the path screen, okay, where he basically has to select to click on one thing. So that's why it's called quick, because you have to do nothing else than just clicking on one thing. Now, the problem of this screen is that it's having 6 kind of classes, There are like 6 classes, and you click on one, and it gives you an explanation. By the way, the font is pretty bad. I mean, it should make the font bigger. But the Street Warrior is a fighter who relies on physical strength as well as agility. So let's say that he reads this stuff, and And then it's reading something weird like parents. Okay, so I have parents. Your dad is a helping hand at the local blacksmith, and your mom is serving a local town. And you will go like, what the fuck? This game is telling me about the parents of my character. Yeah, it's pretty weird, It's pretty strange. But and then life. You also go up on your own. Both parents working on same. Okay. So in this case, is getting like a predefined background, and is also reading these things, but none of these things are explained. Like I cannot click on any, I cannot click on anything. So there is like zero description on my on this. So I mean, if he's a role player, if he's someone that plays, any kind of games, obviously we'll know a bit about it. But for example, Will, will not be that easy to understand. So what Will does to me. And anyway, in this game, what is strength versus agility, or strength versus endurance going to do for my character? So this is completely not explained. So the character, the player is left. Well, you can just Google it, I guess. So you can go to Google and search plane shift something, and maybe something you will find. But the game is very harsh, Our game is very harsh at the moment with the player, because he's not getting any information. And okay, so he clicks on that. He clicks on Enchanter. He has a nice symbol. I don't know what this symbol means, but it's fine. Pure Wizard. Okay, she devotes herself to the study of highest form of magic. Kind of angelic, blah blah blah. And again, here you have these parent things that is basically just predefined for you, and you have no way to change it, right? Okay, so it says, okay. I mean, I want to select one, and then it does upload. Okay, so now we're not gonna do it, but basically the pad screen is one click, so he has to do nothing else than clicking on one of this thing above, or click on random. Random is just selecting one of the 6, by the way. So it's not changing on any of the stats. Okay, so I mean, if you click 2 times on Street Warrior, you will not have different stats, you will not have different skills, you will not have anything specific, right? It's just that it's clicking on. It's just for the lazy person, or the one that believes in fate, to say, hey, I click on random and I get a random one. And then he clicks on upload. So he has basically nothing to do. What he gets, even if he doesn't know, what he gets, well, he knows because he can read it below, but what he basically getting is getting, a background, which is parents and life. He's getting stats, and he's getting skills, right? And nothing else, in the sense that the Street Warrior is not really an association or a faction or a guild or anything in our game. So at the moment, so the fact that he's selecting Street Warrior is just a bit of a stereotype, kind of a stereotype of the character and nothing else. So he has no impact on the game whatsoever. So the only thing that he has an impact are the stats, the path, the skills, and the rank down below here. Now you may check if they are balanced. I mean, if he's like a role-playing guy, maybe you can check if they are balanced. But another thing, for example, is weird. Like you get strength 0%, and again, it's not explained. So does it mean that my enchanter would be like completely, unable to lift a small stone, or not able to even lift his own glass? 0% seems very hard, I think we should put a plus something here. Plus, so it would be more understandable. So that you are adding, because that's the way it is, obviously. So you're adding on top of your standard basic stats for the race, you are adding a percentage, right, on top. But anyway, this is something that we can add, just a plus. And here you are getting skills. Again, you have no idea what these skills are going to give you in the game. which is also a bit tough for the player. But I think he will go with one of those. There is no visual representation of those, so you don't see if your character somehow is changing thanks to this selection. Like if you make your Cletus a fighting monk, now will it look different in game? So the answer is obviously no, but the player doesn't know. I have no idea. So there is no visual representation of it. Okay. One thing that we could do is that maybe to give some initial equipment, which is something that we don't do here. But do we assign any initial equipment? I don't think so. I don't think we assign anything on startup. So it's basically no equipment, right? No equipment, and I guess also no money. I'm not 100% sure. I will test it, but I think we get no money at the beginning, or maybe a minimal amount. Anyone knows? I don't remember. Okay. Anyway, fine. So now the player can click and upload, or he can just say, no, let me try the advanced one. Okay, let me see the advanced what he has for me. So the advanced one is multiple screens. Actually, it's multiple screens, and unfortunately we don't have a picture, and it's a pity. But this is about the birth, so the early, years of your life. So you are basically looking at your life, right? And so, okay, I'm not gonna type here everything you select, but you select the birthday, which, by the way, has no meaning in game. You select a day and a month. Now, the months are actually described here, and there is some background story related to it, but I don't think the player will care too much about it. But he can read, you can read the. I don't think there is any bonus given based on the month. I think there is no difference. Yeah. I think the game makes no difference based on this. Even if I see that the CP are changing. So maybe we do. Maybe we do, huh? We do? Okay. Connection. Okay, let me just launch the. I think we do then. I think there is an association. I was not remembering. Also with the month. Interesting. Interesting. So let me check in the character, because everything is inside character creation life, I think, or character creation. That's a good question. I don't remember. These are basically all the options that you have. It is. Yeah. The months make a difference. So the zodiac makes a difference. Is changing the points and is doing something to your character. You see this character create 217. So is actually I don't remember where this is defined, but I think it's defined or in math script directly or in progression events, maybe progression events. Let me do where name like char. Oops. Yes. So 217, for example, right? So you see that you get, for example, a malus of -12 on your on your will characteristic, and you get a bonus on Crystal Way, right? And and you get some animal affinity. So there is a reasoning behind all of this. Okay, so the problem is that the player doesn't really know, and it is what is a bit obscure, about this character creation. Is exactly this, that it's not very easy for the player to understand what is going on. Now, we did it by purpose, so because we wanted him to role play his character and just get something out of it. And I think I still want it this way. I still want it to be this way. Yeah, I still want it to be this way. I'm pretty. I mean, I really like the background, and the fact that it's like trying to tell you what you did in your past history. Now, the UI I think is pretty bad. I mean, it's very basic, and apart from the background that is nice, but the font, the way it's presented, and everything is very basic. But okay, this is what our old engine was able to do, and I don't think that siblings make it. Maybe even this one makes a difference. I think also this one may make a difference. Yeah. Also, this one makes difference. Every selection makes a difference, It's pretty cool, by the way. I like it. Yeah, I think I like it. So the problem is that the player is completely unaware of what is happening, So he's selecting. I mean, it tells you a bit because you can read it. You can read. You have no sibling, and as many other people in this condition develop a stronger personality and more self-confidence. But you lack many of the communication skills able to build a good relationship with others. So it's kind of build, which is not always true, obviously. But I mean, it's just the way. I mean, we did it in a way that was like. So you have pros and cons. Every of these options are giving you pros and cons, and so they are starting to outline. I was not finding the right word. To outline your character somehow, right? So it kind of outlines your character and the psychology and the physical traits of your character. So yeah. So that is about your birth. So is and then you go next, right? Now here is telling about your parents. So you decide if your parent was your father and your mother. They were doing something important or not. They could be normal. They could be famous. They could be exceptional. If you go for normal, you can decide. And here the CP are starting to go down, right? The CP are starting to go down. So alchemist, animal trainer, apothecary. So there are many professions, really many professions, and each one is giving you some bonus and maluses, which obviously you are not aware of. But if you select like an exceptional musician, obviously you will have some benefit on that, or an exceptional jeweler, you will have some benefit on that. So he's adding skills related to this, right? I think I really like this part. I mean, the fact that you are going through your past life, is kind of unique. I don't think that any other game says something like this. So I think is interesting. I don't know. I don't know if it's frustrating to the players that they just select something and they don't know exactly what is going on for their character. So they may be annoyed that they have to select a lot of stuff, but they don't really understand if he has an effect on the the skills and the stats. But that's a bit of the purpose of this selection. You know, I don't know if you like it or not, but there is the, and then you have to select the religion. We may have an issue with the religion though, because there is the religion of the new land. You know, the land where you arrive is not the religion that you had in your previous world. So. Oh, I never seen that you have a tooltip with a cost. Wow. 26 CP cost at 26. CP cost 26. Yeah, but if I do exceptional, it doesn't change it. No, alchemist 24. I stays at 24, which I don't think is. I think is this thing is broken. This tooltip is probably broken, but yeah. But you see, like if you take father and mother exceptional, your CP go negative, so you basically cannot do it. I mean, if you want to spend all your points on your background, right? Yeah, this thing about the religion, so. Because I don't know if I want to keep it the same way, but let's say that so parents and religion are decided here. Birth is mainly well, I think we can put it in is date, birth date, and what, and siblings. So birth date and siblings you have here. I mean, you can randomize in any of the pages, but just for fun. I know, just someone that is is very lazy, just want to click on randomize. And then you have your childhood, right? Then you have your childhood, and in the childhood you can decide. It is a bit of cyberpunk taken from the pen and paper cyberpunk game, so where you have to decide the events of your past life, yeah, so you can say nothing special and that's it, and so it doesn't change your CP, or you can decide some of the background, and there are really many different options here. So you could I mean, this gives you hints on how to role play your character, and I really like this part. I think it's pretty much unique. I think no one has it. Some of these options are balanced in the sense that if you choose castle, maybe it doesn't mean that automatically you have only bonuses. I think they are balanced between bonus and maluses, right? But it's just a way to. The problem we have with this is that some of this will not be applicable anymore in the new flow, which is a bit of a problem. We have to change some of this, huh? We have to change some of this. We have to change some of this. Okay, we can. I can think about it, but for example, house is not working anymore. So anyway, here we have the birth event, you have the activity, and you have the house. Okay, so where you were living. Then, okay, selected a bunch of those. You need to do next, and then here is life. Life events. So life events are usually, a bit more, and you can select one or more as you want, and it is also changing, your CP. But if you have too many, obviously you have to remove it and go back. And there are quite a number. I think they are not grouped in any way, which can be annoying, maybe, but yeah, everyone has his own description, and and you can see what he did. Now you do next. He's telling you have some CP left, so because in fact you say you have this CP, I think if we can just allow to click on it and it gives you a description, I think would be good enough. But yeah, so he asks you if you really want to upload with with that CP remaining. Maybe you can go back and select other options, but and then here you are basically reviewing your character. Right, so there is a kind of a review. So life events, and then is a going to say is a final review of your character. Right, final review where you see basically your birth and all the selections, your life and all the selections, and the final stats and skills that you have based on your choices. Okay? Now the player will not understand what 53 means, so he will not really understand if 53 is a lot or low or whatever. So unfortunately that he has no idea. And the same for the skills, because it doesn't know if it's scaled up to 10, up to 100, up to 1000. So I think this part should be improved as well. But yeah, there is a final screen, and then after the final screen, when he clicks on upload, he just sent to the tutorial area. Okay, he just sent to the tutorial. So yeah, it's just sent to the tutorial area, right? So if I upload, I'm just going to, if it doesn't crash, to the tutorial area. Okay, so the first thing that happens here, apart from a lot of loading, is the tutorial thing, which by the way, this one I didn't port yet. This one I did not port yet to Unreal Engine, so this one we don't have. But anyway, so you are shown basically with a tutorial which is saying hello. Unfortunately, this is not spoken, so you have to read the text, which can be pretty annoying. There is an explanation of the different windows and how to move, and then you are basically directed to the first NPC, which is that one in front of you, right? You are basically directed to this lady. If you use your middle mouse wheel, you will see that you can zoom in, and and movement is very terrible compared to Unreal, I have to say. But yeah, so that's it. So that's what is happening in the old game, right? This is what is happening in the old game. Now the question that we have is, tutorial area. Then you finish the tutorial. So the tutorial is again very scripted. So they teach you about interacting with NPC. So they teach you about interacting with NPC. They teach you about quests and items. So there is a small quest where you have to bring an item back, to a person. They teach you about fighting, because actually down here you can fight. Down here you can fight those rats, and then it teach you about spells, because there is someone teaching you about spells. That's a guard. There is someone here teaching you, teaching you about spells, and you can look a bit around and see what is going on. And then you go down here, I think. Yes, then you go down here, and it's teaching you about crafting, and then you exit. Okay, so basically that's what it is. So yeah, so it's a bit about fighting, a bit about spells, a bit about crafting, but it's all in the same place. So I think what is painful of this tutorial is that it's telling you things all at the same time, of stuff that maybe you would never do in a short term, you know. I have 0 equipment and 0 money. Okay, I think the NPC here in the tutorial are giving you some. So I think that when you finish the tutorial, you get some items. Yes, you get some. You get a weapon. You get some stuff, right? And then you basically start the game. You are thrown into the game, and you start to find your way around, right? So so here it gives you. I think it gives you money and a weapon. I'm not 100% sure about the money, but I think we do. Gives you money and weapon. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much what is happening in PS Legacy in terms of new player flow. Now the big question is, what do we want to do, you know? And we already have an answer, by the way, so I'm cheating a bit, but because I already have an answer somehow. But the point is, what do we want to do in PS Unreal, right? What do we want to do in PS Unreal? And okay, so this will obviously stay the same. The register, download, and install, but this one will already be different. So character selection screen. So this already. So up to create new, I think will be identical, right? So in Unreal we have, if I launch the server, maybe let me go in non-production mode, because if I go in production mode, it takes too much to load. Server config, I think it is. So yeah, I'm already not in production. Okay, good. So and I have to think if I want, you know, to build the UI and then fill it up later, or if I want to, or if I don't want to. But I think I want to build a sequence, you know, and then someone will help me hopefully to do the graphics, because I cannot do them myself. So let's let the server go up. And the client go up. So if you don't have a server running, you cannot do anything. Okay, so the first point is you need a server up, and that's okay. That's identical to the previous game. It is identical. So that is the Unreal Engine one. Huh? That is the new one. I think I have the full maps. No, I only have this one, but I think I did an update in SVN, and so is recalculating, is building some meshes for the first time. Is building some stuff for the first time, so we need to, unfortunately, I think we need to wait that it finishes. Yeah, it's building the distance fields. Okay. Now, when we package the game, this should not happen. Okay, so all this stuff should be pre-calculated, hopefully, so it should not happen. Okay, let me try now. If I can log in. Okay, so this is our first screen in Unreal, right? This is our first screen, which is basically the same as this one, right? Is the same podium map. It's exactly the same map, which was made so many years ago you have no idea. It's still compiling shaders due to the updates that I did, so I think it will take a bit before. You see this timeout while waiting for GPU to catch up? Yes, yes. It's just trying to recover from work. But basically here you have the selection screen or the create new character or the logout, the quit, the delete, and the play. Yeah, I don't really like the organization of this screen. It's a bit of messy, but like this thing is like, why create new character here at the top? I have no idea, but okay, so we can design it better maybe. But then you click on create new character, right? At the moment, the create new character is pretty much the same, right? But I got here the create new. I forgot here to mention, you know, the yes, to mention this one. What you select. So basically here there is a screen, you know, which is the base. I don't know what it's called. It's called the character screen. So it's the new character screen where you are why is it bold? Where you are basically selecting name, race, traits, and I think that's it, and gender. Name, race, gender, and traits. Yes, here. Now, now this one, I think at the moment we can keep as it is. I'm not a total fan of this screen. By the way, the view is slightly offset, and we can fix it, but this is not the biggest problem. I think the traits are kind of